So my sister just got here. She's gonna stay the night, and her dog is quite vocal. Quite vocal. Might hear her yelping pretty soon. It's time for your next match to come with me. Hi, Ginger. All right. Anyways. But yeah, if you're just starting your video game journey, that is an exciting time. It's a very, very exciting time. And finding games that you know other people enjoy, and you can enjoy it and then enjoy it together, right? It's one of the best things, honestly. Like Mellow Machine right here, right? I'm playing Paper Mario Thousand Year Door kind of for the first time. I never finished playing it completely, and Mellow Machine speedruns the game, and they pop in, mention things here and there. It's just like it enhances my experience. You know, it's like it's so nice. Yeah, it's so nice being able to experience things with other people. You know, so. And what better experience than a first playthrough, honestly, right? People like watching others experience something that they enjoy, especially for the first time. Like, think about going out to eat, right? You bring a friend you bring a friend to eat something for the first time, and you already know you enjoy it, and you want to see their reaction for it. Like, how does it make you feel to watch your friend experience it, with it, regardless if they like it or not, right? Like, the anticipation and the potential of more like interactions, of more communication with your friend in that way, it just creates memories, you know? Like, it's so nice. It's so nice. It's one of the best things about living, honestly. All right. Yeah, you did, Cap. Very nice. UT is fun. Yeah, it absolutely is. You feel like there's a lot more to do because, like, UTSA, it's like it's a commuter college. So a lot of people just go to classes and then they go straight back home. So it doesn't feel like there's a lot of like college life going on. Whereas at UT, there's like so much more engagement with your community, with your friends, especially with organizations and such. It's really, really nice. Oh yeah, yeah. But plug yourself into some organizations, you'll meet some lifelong friends for sure. Like, there's no question about it. You'd be very surprised how easy it is to make friends when y'all have similar interests. Like, you like K-pop, join a Korean group, right? Like, I'm sure there's I'm sure there's like a Korean student association, right? And more than likely, I bet you have already done that. So, yeah, I don't mind pausing to talk. Like, it's actually one of those things that I look forward to. Because I imagine you are not one of the people that I've met before, but I had my main base at the moment of viewers are former students. I used to be a teacher, so I have a lot of former students that pop in every now and then, and we just catch up. That's why. So, like, pauses happen quite a bit. In fact, there was this one time I paused, and there was a student that popped in. They were like, "Man, I love chemistry. That's the subject I taught," and he was like, "Man, I look forward to organic chemistry because I've heard a lot of stuff about it." And in my head, I'm like, I mean, I could show you a little snippet about some organic chemistry if you really want to. Do you have the time to do that? And it's like, yeah, I do that. I was like, okay, I guess we're about to do this. So I finished up my mini fight or mini boss with who was it? Junior Troopa in chapter 7. I think it was that fight. So I finished that up, and then we did like a whole 30-minute session of like elementary or introduction to organic chemistry and why it's such a pain in the ass. It's like I think about it, I'm like, there's probably so much misinformation that I mentioned here, but at the same time, I'm just trying to show the basic idea. Oh, and trust me, I've talked to a lot of people, and like, kid you not, I would say maybe 40% of people are like, oh, I enjoyed chemistry. And then of those 40% people, maybe 10% of them were like, yeah, like I was good at chemistry. And it's like, yeah, it's so funny. It's so funny. Yeah, science for a lot of people in high school is quite hit and miss. You want me to get damaged by enemies 5 times. Oh, absolutely. But I will tell you one thing. The way science is taught is not evolving at all. That's sad. That's absolutely sad. I mean, I'm not a teacher anymore. I'm not a teacher anymore. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You see that happening with physics right now, with the discovery of new elementary particles and understanding of dark matter and all these other aspects that we didn't know even a year ago. It's insane what's going on in the world of physics, much less the different applications that we have for biochemical what's it called? I had the word in my head, now I lost it. But there's so much biochemistry going on around the world, and using those ideas to solve massive problems. Like, for example, worms that eat plastics. We can do that, right? Or lab-grown beef that apparently tastes fucking amazing, you know, but it's expensive as hell, right? It's just, man, there's a lot of things going on around this world, and a lot of us don't have any idea. No idea, you know? But isn't that kind of cool, right? Like, once you hear about it, it's like, oh yeah, we've been working on this for a decade. It's like, wait, what? A whole decade? Yeah, it's so cool though. Like, once you really learn more of what science actually is, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing what you can do. I hope so. All right, I hope so. I feel like we all have goals we want to reach, and many of us never actually reach those goals. And it shouldn't be that way. You know, really shouldn't. Oh! You know, I didn't edit my badges. I didn't sleep. I didn't change my partner. Actually, do I need to change my partner? I probably don't. Okay. But yeah, like, I think there's a saying also, like, it takes one to know one, you know? And in a lot of ways that's very true. And usually it's used in a negative context, but I also think that there's a lot of truth in how that plays out in just everyday life. Like, I think a lot about the idea of master and apprentice, because a lot of our education system is not based on that anymore, right? I'm your master, you're my apprentice, let me show you how to do stuff, right? Like, it's very outdated, but that's how trade schools are, you know? But many of us don't go to trade schools. But that being said, when you go to trade school, it really does take a certain person to do certain types of work. Have you ever thought about that? Like, if you want to be a really good mechanic, it takes a certain mentality to be a really good mechanic, right? Likewise, if you want to do be a data analyst, like that's what I want to do, right? It takes a certain attitude, or at least perspective, to understand what it takes to be a data analyst. I think that you adopting a certain persona is perfectly normal. It may not be who you are, but who are you really, if not a person who is creative enough to adapt and be whatever you need to be, right? I remember talking to Miss Balfour. I don't know if you remember Miss Balfour, if you've ever had the pleasure of interacting with her beyond curriculum. But there was this one saying that I really loved when we got to talk. It was, teachers are they do much more than teaching. They have to wear many different hats. Sometimes we're the counselor, sometimes we're a guide, sometimes we're, you know, the authority figure. Like, we have to adopt so many different roles for students at any given time, because sometimes that's what the student needs. And what makes a great teacher is one who is acutely aware of the needs of people around them. And really, that's true for great people in general, you know? Like, who do I want to be? I want to be someone who can help guide people as best I can, wherever I am, right? And that's exactly why I'm having these sorts of ramblings right now, because I wouldn't say these things if I didn't care about it, right? And you know how I am. Most people who I've come to interact with know exactly what my agenda is usually. Yeah. Okay, so if I'm really quiet, it's because I'm trying to relax. Still woke up early, did my 8-hour shift. I'm not used to streaming this late. I suspect by the time it gets to 10 o'clock, I'm gonna be fucking tired. Oh shit! I'm not looking forward to the ending part of this stream, honestly. I know I'm gonna be tired, but you know, if I, yeah, I tell you, this isn't to glow, but if I told you everything that I usually do, like, you'd be even more amazed. But yeah, you gotta find some way to do what you want, you know? Like, I'll tell you now, when I first started working at HEB, my life was go to work, fall asleep, eat, fall back asleep, go to work. Because my shift was 5 a.m. to 1:30, and doing that shift is rough when you're not used to it. Like, I'm used to it now, but I'm not used to it enough to where it's like normal. Yeah, exactly, right? Like, imagine having to get up at like 4 o'clock to brush your teeth and just go immediately to work. I have coworkers who have a 4 a.m. shift and they wake up at 2 a.m. Like, there are people that do that, and then don't forget that there are people that work overnight. Like, their shift starts at 8 p.m. and ends at like 4:30 a.m. Like, what else do you do outside of that? I'm very curious. Like, tell me how you function and what other things you do. Like, what kind of life do you have outside of work? You know? So, yeah, I mean, like, it's HEB, right? So, grocery, retail, you can work any hour that you want at a grocery store because there's always something to do. Like, I work primarily in the deli, so one of our main functions in the deli is production. In other words, making salads, making sandwiches from scratch. So that's a lot of manpower that you need. That's a lot of physical labor you have to have, right? And because of that, it's like, well, there are we open at 6 a.m. Okay, we open at 6 a.m. You want to have product out at 6 a.m. because what if there's a customer that pops up 6 a.m. dead in the early morning, right? And they're like, oh, I want an oven roasted Munster sandwich, but it's not on the shelf. Then it's like, okay. It's like, yeah, I can do that. Give me a little bit of time to cut the stuff that I need to make that, right? But it's like, for situations like that, when it comes to production, it's almost always better to have your, oh shoot, I forgot, don't collect the coins right now. It's almost always better to just say, like, work early so you don't have those sorts of questions right now, you know? Because the more times you are interrupted, the less efficient your work is. And guess what? That affects your productivity and therefore your evaluations. It kind of sucks, if I'm being completely honest. But like, if you have to sacrifice going early just to have a better evaluation, like, why? You know, why? Oh, wrong one. But yeah, it's a lot of stuff. But for my role in particular, I cook, so I prepare hot foods, and the primary responsibility of the cook, at least at HEB, is preparing the rotisserie chickens. Holy hell, the morning cook position is hellish. Depending on the expectations, yes, but let's just say you deal with a lot of heavy lifting. That's why I got these muscles right now. And truth be told, it's the only reason why I'm fairly fit at the moment, because I used to work out back when I first started working as a cook, but not anymore. Like, I'm so exhausted from working and then doing all this other stuff like streaming and then finishing up my or working on my Google classes. Like, it's a lot. It's a whole lot. And then doing all your other stuff, right? Personal errands, preparing appointments for yourself, eating, hygiene. Like, it's hard to live, honestly. It's hard to make a living. Yeah. After a while, you get used to it, but then there. Ooh, that was a lot of flowers. Oh no. Okay. But yeah. Overall, though, time managed well enough, and you're happy. You're happy. That being said, if you don't time manage and you're unsatisfied with the productivity that you have, you know, pick up on some things, you know, pick up on some strategies on how to be more efficient. It really makes a difference. you want some tips, just drop by the study stream or even ask now. I'll give you some tips now if you want me to. Did I need to go this way? No, right? It was the bottom path. Cafe at Lifetime Gym. I know a lot of people who used to work at Lifetime Gym, like back when I was in high school also. Like I had 5 different friends, I feel, that just worked at Lifetime, and they freaking loved it because it was so chill. But anyways, let me read the rest of this message. And then you got free gym membership as a perk of working at the job. I can probably count on one hand the amount of times I actually had the energy to go back into work in order to work out. Fair enough. But let me explain why I worked out while working still, even though my job was so physically demanding. Okay. If I'm coming home from work, passing out because I'm so tired, and the only other thing I'm doing is like eating and keeping up with my hygiene, like that says something about either either or, right? Well, no, that's not what I'm looking for. And or, I guess, and or the work and or yourself, right? And in most cases, it's usually a mix of both, right? In some way, some facets of both. So for me, I look at it as what can I control about my life that can help me to overcome this potential obstacle. You know, very basic question, but dive deep enough into it and you get some interesting answers. So here's what I found out. Despite the physical labor, what I needed to do was increase my endurance. I need to increase my ability, my potential to output more and more. Not for work. No, that's not the point. It's more so for my own like sanity, right? I can't go on my life working and doing nothing else. Like that's not fulfilling. Like, so how am I going to reach those goals of like being able to do what I want? And that starts with first not being tired. How do I not be tired then? Make sure that I have the endurance. So once I started working out, after like maybe a month, it took a while for me to see progress. I shouldn't even say a month. I think I was so gassed from doing everything, but I would say 2-3 months after I really was working out, I started having more energy, and I feel like I was able to do a lot more because of that. I didn't come home exhausted. I came home doing other stuff. I actually played video games a lot more often because I started because I started working out, because I had the energy to do it all of a sudden, right? And then another perk to working out was all of a sudden work was easier somehow. I mean, obviously because you have a higher output now, so you could handle the heavy lifting. But I even beyond that, I feel like I wasn't left gassed after, say, lifting like 21 50-pound cases of chicken onto a cart and then doing it again to put into my cooler. And like granted, each of those tasks of like moving those 21 cases of 50-pound chickens, it takes like less than 5 minutes probably. But like to do it that quickly and like in succession, because it was like within 15 minutes that you were doing it twice. Like my friend who usually does the same thing that I do, she's usually like, oh my gosh, that's like one of the worst parts of the job. I hate doing that part. Just carrying those chickens, rolling them across the store floor, putting them into the cooler, and like, ugh, it is a lot. It is tiring. But I realized that after I had worked out, like it felt like even though I was tired from it, I wasn't gassed from it, like out of breath. She's like almost always out of breath, and that's part of her health, unfortunately. But for me, I'm lucky. I don't have those health problems, so I'm able to do that. Thankfully, right? And thankfully, I got really good at it, so then she didn't have to do it as often. But I mean, I'm rambling at this point. But then, really, what I'm trying to say is, if you care enough about the things that you want to do, like really take time to make sure that you actually do them, right? Like I care enough about playing video games right now, so how am I doing that? I'm streaming. I'm forcing myself to stream it so I can play video games. I don't really play video games outside of streaming because I'm doing all these other things. But by setting the schedule, by saying I'm gonna play this on this day, I'm committing myself because I care enough to do it. And I think that that's a really powerful message, you know? And if I can have that mentality for all these other things I'm doing, like my classes, or even even messaging people that I haven't messaged in years. Like, I actually did that a few days ago. Okay, not years. It's maybe been like 1.5 years since I talked to these two people that I have in mind right now. But like, they're people that I never really talk to, or that I don't talk to often, but I do care about them. Why haven't I messaged them? You know, if I cared enough, I'd do it. So there's a list of people that I care about that I've met throughout my life that I just never bothered to message. And I think that that's the I'm trying to find the right words. It's almost human nature to live and forget, you know? It's very out of mind, out of sight mentality. And the more I hear that, the more I'm like, man, I really wish it wasn't like that, but it is. You know? I want to get over that in some way for certain things that I do care about. So, long story short, care about it, put in the energy to do it, make time for it. If you feel like you don't have time to do the things that you want to do, like, I don't have time for that. No. You make time, okay? And really that's the first step to making huge change for progress. Change your mentality. It will help.